For the first time in a long time, the Patriots are not looming large over the AFC. I don't have them making the playoffs. Tom Brady's gone, so Kansas City could be the new dynasty. But I started to wonder about this, that we looked at the Super Bowl, and we know they were down 10 with, 7 minutes to go. They were trailing in all of their games in the postseason. They were down 24-0 to the Texans. And the one play that should stand out in Chiefs history as one of the most underrated plays in the NFL, in NFL history, and I'm not overselling this, Daniel Sorensen stopping the fake punt by the Texans when the Texans were up 24-0. And then I think 24-7, he stops them, and it's 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. And he stops them with a fake punt. And then all of a sudden, they score, and it changed the momentum. So you have that where you're down. They were down 24-0 in that game, rallied to win. Look at the Super Bowl. They were in trouble in the Super Bowl. 6 minutes to go, you're down 10, and Patrick Mahomes was not playing well at all. And you look back on the Patriots dynasty. How many times did they win or lose in dramatic fashion? David Tyree. Mario Manningham with his catch down the sidelines. And then you had Vinatieri with a couple of field goals to win. Malcolm Butler with the interception. Like, when we talk about dynasties, like, it's not dominating. They're just winning. They're surviving. The Patriots could easily have 2 less Super Bowls or 2 more Super Bowls. And now we're looking at Kansas City and say, wow, they're a dynasty. They barely survived. And they should have lost the Super Bowl because San Francisco forgot that Tyreek Hill was the fastest player on the field. And that was another one of those plays. That play and Sorensen's play against the Texans, those are the two that stand out. And Mahomes stayed in there knowing he was going to get hit right in the mouth by Bosa. And he hung in there as long as he could. I think it was a 3rd and 13. So we talk about these dynasties, and the Chiefs, I don't know if they're a dynasty. They could have easily gotten knocked out a couple of times in the postseason before they got to the Super Bowl. They did have a good offseason because they were able to give the contract extension to Mahomes. I love that they brought in Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU. And you start to look, they know that their competition is going to be Baltimore. Maybe another team emerges. But they had a lot of things go right for them last year. I don't know if anybody is thinking or was thinking dynasty last year, but we could be talking about this today where the Super Bowl champion 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo would open up the season tonight, had they won. And we would be looking at the Niners and Jimmy Garoppolo completely different. And then would we be looking at maybe Kansas City still being a dynasty? If San Francisco gives Raheem Mostert the ball on 2nd down and 5, they run the clock. The clock was your friend there. And the Chiefs weren't stopping Mostert. So it was like small things. If Chris Jones doesn't get his hand up and knock the pass down, San Francisco wins. Is Mahomes the face of the sport if he doesn't win and doesn't look good and get a $500 million? So before we go all in on Kansas City and go, they got it all figured out, future's great, it appears that way. You got a great tight end, couple of dangerous wide receivers. You got a electric rookie running back there. You got Andy Reid, still got a good offensive line. Defense is good, good enough. So before we want to, I think, put that rubber stamp and go, there's your next dynasty, maybe it is. But understand that these dynasties, it's very fragile as far as if you don't have the tuck rule, if they don't impose that bogus tuck rule with Brady against the Raiders and Charles Woodson, then Vinatieri doesn't kick the field goal to send them to a Super Bowl. Vinatieri winning a couple of Super Bowls. What if he misses? Misses one of the two. So when you look back and you go, gosh, that they were a dynasty. You know, in our modern definition of a dynasty, they are. But they barely won games, barely lost games. And Kansas City could have easily flamed out early in the postseason. But, you know, with that, we have Kansas City against the Texans. If you're Bill O'Brien, head coach of the Texans, do you show the game footage from last year's meeting with the Chiefs? Do you start the tape at 24-0? or do you stop at 24-0? Yeah, because that's where you go in and you'd go, oh, we got to watch game film from last year. Oh, do we have to? Because I don't want you walking out with your, you know, this glazed over look like, oh my God, what just happened? Because if it's not already inside you, I mean, that is painful. And then I go back to the Patriots against the Atlanta Falcons. If the Falcons run the ball 3 times, they're going to win the Super Bowl. And they threw the ball. And then Matt Ryan gets sacked. And then all of a sudden, everybody said the same thing. Patriots going to win another Super Bowl. And you know what? The Falcons knew the Patriots were going to win another Super Bowl. They had time, and they had Tom. But that's how close it is to you could win, you could lose. And I think we think dynasties is you beat everybody by 2 touchdowns. And it's not.